Good afternoon, YouTube. It's really nice out here, so I'm out on my deck again. Today's Kingdom Melody has survived multiple iterations of the songbook, though I'm not really sure why. This song was number 61 in 1966, number 114 in 1984, number 18 in 2009, and number 108 in 2017. And its title is God's Loyal Love. Now, before we get started, there's something that you should know about Jehovah's Witness language. The word loyal is a trigger word for Jehovah's Witnesses. So loyalty is given a different meaning in their language. Loyalty in Jehovah's Witness speak means loyal to the organization, not necessarily God or the Bible, and certainly not your family or friends. Trust me on that. Loyalty actually means the opposite of itself when you're talking about family and friends. Loyalty means ratting out your friends to the elders if you even think that they might be doing something wrong, even if it's not really wrong to a normal human, but it's wrong to a Jehovah's Witness. Loyalty to them means giving everything you've got to bring new people into the congregation. Loyalty means giving up things. Education, loved ones, job opportunities, your life if you happen to need a blood transfusion, pretty much any and everything if the Jehovah's Witnesses tell you to. Okay, so here we go. 1984 version is what I'm going to be singing. Verse 1. Okay, I'm sorry to stop you so soon, but what other kind of love is there? I mean, really, what is disloyal love? To a Jehovah's Witness, I guess that would be the weak sauce kind of love that you have for your family and friends so that you can shun them at the drop of a hat. And I know that the Bible says that God is love. But the Bible also shows that God condones slavery, genocide, rape, stoning people to death. So actually, this song doesn't make me feel particularly cheerful from any direction. In 2017, this line was changed to, "We can sense his care from above." But once again, how? In my 18 years as a Jehovah's Witness, I never sensed care. Not from above, not from below, not from the elders, and not from the congregation. It was mostly about judging and being judged, if you want to know the truth. Love does not send his son, who for us the ransom won. In 2017, this line was changed to, God by means of his precious son paid the ransom for everyone. They added an apostrophe, but it wasn't necessarily an improvement. And they're conveniently ignoring the fact that logically, a ransom shouldn't have been required at all. I mean, God shouldn't have had to kill his son or anyone else in order to appease himself. And if he did have to do that, it speaks to a serious mental illness, definitely not any kind of love. Oh, but wait. The reasoning I was taught growing up was that Satan had questioned Jehovah's right to rule, so then he had to prove himself. But that doesn't wash either, because who did he have to prove himself to? Himself? Satan? Angels? The humans who invented this whole silly story to begin with? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's not even any proof that any of these characters exist at all, much less that they need to prove their right to rule over humanity, which I would argue they aren't even actually doing. In 2017, this was changed to giving hope that we might possess life eternal and happiness. And again, this is the dumbing down of the music. There's a short syllable for every note, which makes it very sing-song. And there's too many notes entirely, honestly. On to the chorus. Hey there, all you thirsty ones, come and drink life's water free. Yes, come drink, you thirsty ones, God's loving kindness see. Now, admittedly, back in the 1960s when this song was written, Thirsty didn't quite carry the connotation it does now, but the Urban Dictionary manages to improve at least the chorus of this song. In case you aren't aware, the Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as too eager to get something, too desperate, usually for sex or attention. Now, back when I was a Jehovah's Witness, we were all thirsty as hell, but we never got any because God's loving kindness doesn't actually allow the kind of loving kindness we were thirsty for.
God is love. All his works give proof thereof.
In 1966, this line was, all his works his goodness prove, which I think is actually preferable to the 1984 lyrical legalese. In 2017, it's, all his works give proof of his love. And this line is highly questionable either way. I mean, let's just take one example. The plagues in Egypt, recounted in the Bible. So basically what happened was, Jehovah was pissed at the Egyptians for refusing to let the Israelites go. I mean, for keeping them enslaved. So what does the almighty creator of the universe decide to do? He starts messing up their stuff. This culminates in the killing of all the firstborn children in any house that didn't have blood smeared on the door frames. Because clearly God can't tell which ones are his people otherwise. But do you mean to tell me that he couldn't come up with any other way to remove his people from bondage besides killing a bunch of children? Really? And another thing, didn't he create all people? So then why all the favoritism? I mean, what was it that made the Israelites so special and better than everybody else? Seriously, what does this say about God? What kind of parent is he? I mean, think about it. Well, children, as you know, even though you are both the fruit of my loins, I actually like Johnny better than Timmy. Timmy locked Johnny in the closet, so I'm going to kill Timmy's puppy in an attempt to force him to let Johnny out of the closet, because since I'm the adult parental unit in this scenario, I can't just open the goddamn door. So no, all his works, as described in the Bible, do not, in fact, prove that he is love. I'm just saying.
Love us is perishing, giving Christ a heavenly throne.
In 2009, the second part of this line was changed to giving Christ the kingly throne. Again, I like the removal of the apostrophe, but I still question how giving his son a throne shows his love for us. I mean, if he wanted to show his love for us, it would seem like he'd do something about AIDS or climate change or something. In 2017, it changed to, love Jehovah has further shown, giving Jesus the kingly throne. Well, I mean, at least Jesus gets a mention here, bless his heart. Jehovah's Witnesses like to make him a distant second to Jehovah, even though he is a slightly more relatable character. Not much, but slightly.
To fulfill his love and soul, see his kingdom has been born.
In 2017, this was changed to, God's own purpose has come to pass, see his kingdom is here at last. But, what kingdom? Where? I don't see anything. In the 1984 version, I think this was intended to mean that the kingdom was born when Jesus supposedly returned invisibly in 1914, because that's what we taught at the time. May still teach that, I don't know. But in the 2017 version, all that's changed, and this says that the purpose has already come to pass, and the kingdom is actually here. But I repeat, where? Okay, so obviously the writer of this song had no real experience with actual doves. Because doves are basically just white pigeons. And if you've ever been anywhere with an abundance of pigeons, like, I don't know, New York City, you'll find that they aren't particularly peaceful birds. In fact, pigeons create a lot of damage and carry diseases. And pigeon poop contains really high levels of uric acid, which is really corrosive and causes extensive damage to metals and other materials. So, there's that. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Grammar's important, people. I mean, I understand the need to manipulate it just a little bit to make a rhyme work when you're composing verse. I get it, occasionally. But in this case, it's unnecessary, and it just makes things more confusing. This line could have just as easily been, he gave us the faithful slave, and it still would have worked. I mean, doctrinally it wouldn't, but grammatically it would have been marginally better. I mean, if you're being grammatically strict, it should have been, he gave the faithful slave to us. But anyway. In terms of Jehovah's Witness doctrine, or New Light, I guess, the faithful slave supposedly consists of multiple crusty old men. So saying him in this context doesn't really work. And what is this about a grand commission? Is the faithful and discreet slave painting a portrait or sculpting a statue or something? Or maybe they just sold a nice car and they're trying to get their commission check? They sold a couple of nice buildings. Maybe it's that. I mean, what are they talking about?
That Jehovah's name be praised, in its vindication true.
Oh, that kind of commission. Well, on the list of all big important things in the world, I would think that whatever name you bear wouldn't really rank too high. Do you? And neither would vindicating a name, come to think of it. I mean, compared to world hunger, disease, genocide, war, nuclear proliferation, environmental issues, natural disasters, etc., 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 protecting the reputation of some deity who by definition should be able to handle the whole thing himself is just preposterous. Anyway, in 2009, this whole verse just got deleted. And I imagine it was deleted as part of the vindicate versus sanctify debate of the 1990s. If you're not familiar with that, basically for years, one of the main tenets of the Jehovah's Witnesses was vindicating Jehovah's name, which always did seem weird to me. I mean, to vindicate is to clear someone of blame or suspicion, or to show or prove to be right, reasonable, and justified. Okay, but tell me this, what did Jehovah do wrong that he needed to be vindicated? I mean, by definition, he shouldn't need vindicating. It just didn't make any sense to me. And then there's the fact that the word vindicate never actually appeared in the Bible. The scriptures say sanctify. To sanctify means to set apart or declare holy, to consecrate, or to make legitimate or binding by religious sanction, or to free from sin, to purify. Again, by definition, God shouldn't have sin in the first place and shouldn't need to be purified. He's already supposedly legit, at least if you're a believer. Shouldn't he already be set apart and holy all by himself, if he is indeed the almighty creator of the universe? So to me, this whole debate is just splitting hairs, and frankly, it's silly. But it was a real thing in Jehovah's Witness land there for a while. So if you'd like to know more, I'm putting a link in the description. Well, speaking of course, I'll spare you listening to that once again.
Lord, God is love. May God's love move us to love.
Okay, this is just laziness. The same word 4 times in one couplet, really? In 2017, they said, may his spirit move us to love, which is marginally better, I guess, but it's still lazy.
Loyally, let's help the meek, as God's righteousness they seek.
What does this mean? Well, remember what I told you earlier about the concept of loyalty in Jehovah's Witness speak? Well, here you get to see it at work in this verse. Loyally helping the meek does not mean that you have some sort of affinity for shy people. No, it means that you show loyalty to the Jehovah's Witness organization by recruiting new salespeople, preferably meek people who are easily led and don't ask too many questions or try to think too much. In 2009, this was changed to as God's righteous way they seek. And in 2017, it became as we loyally help the meek, God's commandments they learn to keep. So now, we're not focusing on meek people who seek righteousness anymore. Now we're focusing on helping those people to keep commandments. You see what they did there? Obey! Wow. You know, it makes me think, I'm watching season 2 of The Handmaid's Tale right now, and honestly, this is freaking me out a little bit.
May we preach from
hey, let's not. Jehovah's Witnesses, I gotta tell you, you're not actually spreading comfort. You think you are, but you're not. Just lay off the total control a bit, okay? Will ya? Probably not, I know. Well, in 2009, they changed this line to, may we preach with godly fear, comfort spread for all to hear. So now we're supposed to be afraid of God? I mean, this is closer to the actual truth of what they teach, but how does being scared into preaching equal comfort for anyone? Besides the governing body, I mean. It does provide all the comforts they'll ever need. Maybe that's actually what they mean here. In 2017, it changed again to, we are serving with godly fear, preaching boldly for all to hear. Great. Now we're not even pretending to give comfort anymore, but at least this is a little closer to truthful, like I said, though still not completely honest about what the Jehovah's Witnesses are actually doing, right? And now we go back to the chorus. You know you want to hear it again. Thirsty.